am going to do some writing. I am currently at, I wrote it down, 61,604 words on my project, on the project of my new thriller. So working title, still not decided, still saying Alone 2, which is not a great title. Then I'm going to start editing the videos I shot on Friday. What else? I am going to make a plan for NanoWrimo, National Novel Writing Month, in November, because if I calculated correctly, I should be done by the end of October with my first draft, which gives me time and space to, you know, let it sit for a while, and I don't look at it for at least 1 month. And as that month is November, and as that November month is also NanoWrimo month, I thought maybe I can try to get something on paper. Today I'm going to do some planning on that to see if I can make it work. And what else? Oh yeah, I'm going to make a list of all the topics I can make YouTube videos about. And of course, for now, I'm thinking, you know, I live in Portugal, so I can talk about living in Portugal, writing a book and self-publish it, writing books and traditionally publish them, reading, and yeah, I don't know, I'm still thinking about other stuff that we can talk about. If you have any suggestions or any questions, please let me know. I also work as an editor, corrector for books that are not my own. I received a new manuscript to work on, and I have to finish it this month, and I won't have a lot of time, so I need to crack on with that. So, but first things first, what I'm going to do now is start writing on my own novel, my own thriller. As I said, 61,604 words, which means I'm aiming for 80,000. This is only first draft. This means that I'm almost entering the climax, so that is very exciting. So I'm gonna crack on with that, and I will check in with you later. Bye. Ik heb geschreven 867 woorden. English. Yep. So I wrote 867 words this morning, and I reached a word count of 62,471 words, which is good. I've probably written a little bit more, but I also deleted some parts, so this is the net gain that I have. So yeah, I'm happy, and enough writing for today. I'm going to have some lunch and then continue on with my other work.
I was on fire, our house, our dreams. We were dancing on a wire.
Good morning. This week I really need to talk to you about this book. It is called Blindness by José Saramago. He's a Portuguese writer, and it's the first time that I've read a Portuguese novel. I read it with my book club here in Portugal. Oh, there's a fly here. Yeah, sorry. I live in Portugal. There are a lot of flies here, and they like my coffee. I've lived here since the end of 2019, Christmas 2019 actually, so it will be 3 years now. And of course, because of the pandemic, we didn't have a lot of opportunities to meet people. And now I'm catching up with that, so I'm in this book club. It's a live book club. We meet once every 6 to 8 weeks, I think, and read one book that one of us picks. And it's been lovely because this way I read books that I would never have picked up myself, and I meet new people, which is always great when you live in a foreign country. And the book that we read last month was absolutely heartbreaking. I mean, Blindness is of course a translation. The Portuguese title is, let me see, Ensaio sobre a cegueira. It was written in 1995, and it left me in pieces. Let me tell you what it's about. So there's a man driving on the road. We don't know what his name is. He's just a man. He stops for a traffic light, and then he cannot see. It's like from 1 second to the next, he cannot see. All the world has gone white for him. So of course there's a traffic jam, and people yelling, and someone helps him out of the car. So the man explains, like, I cannot see, I'm blind, I cannot see. And this good Samaritan takes the poor man to his house. He drives the car of the man to his address, and leaves the man there. and then steals his car, which is bad. And then this poor man, his wife comes home, and they go to the doctor, to the eye doctor, the ophthalmologist. I don't know the English word. And the doctor checks him out, checks his eyes, checks everything, nothing to see. Man goes back home, and then a few hours later, the doctor goes blind too. And that's the beginning of the book. It's about an epidemic of blindness. And now this, like I said, this book has been written in 1995, so before COVID, before my generation had any knowledge of what it is to be in a pandemic or an epidemic situation. And I am so glad that I've read this book only after COVID and not during, because it would have terrified me. The way that José Saramago describes how humanity crumbles down, how our society crumbles down when one after the other people turn blind, is really terrifying. In the beginning, the government tries to put all the blind people in quarantine, and now we all are very familiar with that. But they are put in quarantine in an old mental asylum, and the problem is that there are too many people going blind, so the asylum gets overfilled with people that cannot see. There is no one there that can help them because it's contagious, so no one wants to be in contact with the blind people. So you can imagine the chaos that this brings with it if you cannot see. I mean, when I was in primary school, we had this question like, what would you rather be, blind or deaf? And I know this is really typical kids to ask a question like this, but it's interesting that I would have always gone with deaf, right? I mean, to be blind is so... it makes you so, this is in my very privileged opinion, it makes you so vulnerable. And so now you have this mental asylum, old abandoned mental asylum, full of very vulnerable blind people. They get food distribution, but then sometimes they don't get food, and then they have to divide the food, and then the most horrible things happen. But what is very interesting about this story is that one person can see, and this is the doctor's wife. And the funny thing is that the author also, he never names the characters, so they are all called what they are. So there is the first man gone blind, which was the man in the car. In the entire book he will be called the first man gone blind. There is the doctor, there is the doctor's wife, there is the girl with the dark glasses, there is the man, the old man with the eye patch, and so on and so on. And this is something that I actually liked about this book, because their names don't matter. This is a story, this is a universal story. This is not a story about one man, one woman, one particular man or woman. No, I think what the author wanted to show is that this is very universal, and this could, in this situation, in this context of a pandemic, this could happen to any of us, and this is true. We know that now, right? No one is spared. So that was very interesting. I liked that about this book. The other things that I liked was how human all the characters were. They are all very flawed, but they are very three-dimensional. José Saramago does a very good job in describing real people. The most fascinating character is the doctor's wife, who can still see, because yeah, she does so much. She is amazing. She helps her little tribe of blind people to find food when they get out of the mental asylum, which eventually they will. Oh, horrible things happen. By the way, trigger warnings. I mean, if you need trigger warnings, please look them up. And I mean, yeah, this book can be traumatizing. It can be traumatizing, so you are warned. But what this book really shows is how fragile our society is, how fragile our humanness is, our civilization. Because can you imagine when everybody has gone blind, except for a doctor's wife, but nobody knows that because she keeps it a secret for a long, long time. Then who is going to provide food? Who is going to provide electricity and water and things like that, all the essentials? I mean, this is what we were actually afraid of. I think I was afraid this would happen when the pandemic began. I had this apocalyptic idea about what was going to happen, and well, Blindness tells this reality, alternative reality. What if society would have crumbled? Well, this is the story. This is what would have happened. Be very glad that it didn't happen. There were a few things that I did not like about this book. One of them is the way the prose was structured. José Saramago uses very little punctuation. He never uses an enter. So everything is just written in one long sentence. There are some points, do you say point? There is some punctuation, but not a lot. And the first half of the book, it bugged me a little bit because it makes me read a lot faster because you never get a break. Now, the thing is, I am very easily stressed, and I call myself a breath holder. So when I get stressed, I hold my breath. When I watch a scary movie, when I read a scary passage in a book, I tend to hold my breath. I go like this. And so I had a lot of trouble breathing during this book because it just didn't give me a break, you know. In one way you could say that's a good thing, but for an entire book this is a lot. Now, the funny thing is that I think about 70%, 80% through the book, we meet a new character, and this character is called the Writer. And I don't know about you, if you read Blindness, please let me know what you thought about it. But when I read the passage about the Writer, that really blew my mind, because the writer was trying to write down, being blind and all, was trying to write down the story of the pandemic that was happening. And because he couldn't see what he wrote, what he did was he would just write and write and write, and then the next day he would feel with his finger, he could feel the imprint where his pen had touched the paper, where it made dents in the paper, you know. So he would feel where he had ended, and then he would just continue on. And I thought, very naive maybe, but I thought, okay, so the narrator, because it was absolutely unclear who the narrator was, the narrator is actually that character, the writer, and that's why this book has been written this way. This is what I thought. So that's, at that moment, I gave the book 5 stars. I was like, mind blown, this is amazing, this is genius, this is unbelievable. I cannot believe what I just read and what I'm experiencing. I'm experiencing a book written by a blind man in a pandemic of blindness, and wow, amazing. But then after finishing the book, I heard that José Saramago writes all his books this way. And that really disappointed me, because I hate it when things feel like they are a trick, you know? And now it feels like a trick, a gimmick. I can be wrong. Please let me know what you think. I'm very curious. So yeah, Blindness by Saramago. I would definitely recommend this. I think it's a book you should read. By the way, I heard my hairdresser told me that this book is compulsory reading in high school here, and when I heard that, I could only think, oh, poor kids, because it's a traumatizing book. But so maybe not when you're a teenager. I mean, nah, there is rape involved and stuff like that, so be warned. But still, I would definitely recommend it because it's an experience. I've never read anything like it, so that's good. One of the reasons I started this YouTube channel is because I'm a writer myself, and I think it's very interesting to read books that I would otherwise not read, and this is a good way to do it. I myself get a lot of inspiration from other booktubers, and I'm kind of hoping that once you get to know me and what I like to read, that maybe you can give me some good reading tips, and I want to expand my reading world and open my eyes a bit more. Yeah. Did you get it? Open eyes, blindness. So right now I am reading Sorrow and Bliss by Meg Mason, which has been longlisted for the Women's Prize for Fiction 2022, maybe shortlisted even in the meantime, I'm not sure. I am almost finished with this one, and I will give you my honest opinion next time. Bye!
Then we were dancing on a wire. Yeah, we were dancing on a wire.